Derek, good to talk. How are you today, pal? Okay?
I'm good. Good. Happy New Year to you.
You too, Derek. Let's get to the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the prospects of Arenado. I know everybody's going to think now the kid they get from Tampa, Liberatore, the big pitcher, maybe they can somehow package him to the Rockies. That would be something I would think that would interest Colorado. Arenado, hinting that maybe this is not the right idea for a team that can't win every year. He's got the opt-out. Cardinals never get intimidated by that stuff. How about the prospects of putting together a package to entice the Rocks? What can you tell me?
Yeah, I think this is actually one case where the Cardinals are at least aware of the opt-out and what that could mean, both in terms of, well, after 2 years, what are you trading for, right? Are you trading for the 2 years guarantee before the opt-out, or are you going to have to meet the price of the Rockies set where it's for the whole thing, that whole control? Now, you're right. The Cardinals have bet on in the past, and you guys were talking about earlier about the Rockies and the Cardinals connection, whether it's Larry Walker early on or trading for Matt Holliday, or there's so many number of times that they had discussions about, say, like Troy Tulowitzki, and here it comes again, almost like an annual conversation. Cardinals like to bet on bringing somebody into the fold and then kind of wooing him, selling him on St. Louis, like they did with Paul Goldschmidt. But that opt-out really factors in here because of the cost. Like, what are you going to give up in prospects, and what type of salary are you taking on? $35 million a year, quite a bit. There's a lot of reasons to give the Cardinals pause, but they have had long-standing interest in Arenado and had visions of what he looks like in their lineup and at the hot corner. Especially since Roland moved on and via trade. But gosh, it's hard to factor in how they're going to clear those hurdles.
Well, I mean, bottom line is, though, would they be intimidated by worrying about the opt-out, or are they more concerned about the $35 million a year he makes? Which one is it?
Yeah, I think it's a blend of both. My understanding is that they certainly would like a chance to talk to him about not exercising the opt-out. That could be something that they could discuss before the trade so that they know what they're giving up. And other teams would want to do that too. Look, if you're going to make the trade, if you're going to approve the trade, he has a no-trade clause. Then is this a place that you're willing to commit to because we're willing, from the Cardinals' perspective, to move these prospects to get you? That's a conversation that they'd like to have. Whether or not the Rockies or Arenado will entertain that, who knows? The other part of that is, like, look, if he's going to opt out after 2 years, because they've seen now if he's unhappy in Colorado or wants to move to a winner, maybe that happens in 2 years, and then do you take the play for him as a free agent?
Yeah, it's a tricky spot. I mean, if he wants to win on a year-in, year-out basis and have a chance to win, he probably shouldn't sign or shouldn't have signed with Colorado because of the ballpark and the pitchers go up and down there year to year. You are in a tough division. You cannot win. You can have some windows, but you cannot win year to year in Denver. It's too difficult to do that because of the other conditions that are involved there. It's an intangible. So St. Louis, you can win. It's not the Dodgers, but I know they had a couple gaps here recently, but you can win year to year in St. Louis, can you not, Derek?
Yeah, that's their goal. And they've taken great pride in the fact that they haven't had a losing record with John Mozeliak as the head of baseball operations. They went the entire decade without a losing record. And then I saw this thing from Baseball America where they ranked the drafts. So despite always picking late in the draft and having 1 year where they had all of their picks taken away because of the hacking scandal as punishment for what happened with the Astros, they still had the sixth best productive drafts in the draft, sixth best productive drafts in the decade. So, the Cardinals pride themselves on continuity, consistently being competitive, always being a threat to win the division. That's how they define themselves, is by how they get to October. They don't want to put a speed bump financially in their big plan, but you could see how they're clearing spots. And they have over the past few years. Look, they've chased Stanton. They've chased Price. They made a bid for Hayward where he then chose to take less eventually to go to the Cubs. You look at what they've tried to play in, the market that they've tried to play in, and they've just not had success there. But they wonder, too, how much of that allowed them to make moves elsewhere to sustain this engine of consistent competitiveness.
All right, now I think Martinez is. I mean, listen, I know he's not a defensive player. Doesn't have to be now full time there in Tampa. He can hit. I mean, bottom line is the times I've seen him, he can hit. He hits good pitching,
especially left-handed pitching.
Yeah, he can hit. He has. I don't know what his op. I know. Listen, he's a specialist in that department. I would have no problem letting him face right-hand pitchers. He's a good offensive player. Am I right? I have that read right or not?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, really, yeah, good offensive player, given a great opportunity by the Cardinals, coming out of the Royals organization where he was a terror in AAA. Cardinals put him on the bench, tried to find places for him. Look, I mean, they had him play first base for a long time, tried to teach him that position. Jose Akendo worked with him a lot there, had him in the outfield, right? They tried to find him a home because of how potent that bat was, and they always liked having him as a right-handed hitting deterrent off the bench, whether it was part of a platoon that they could slide into for favorable matches into the starting lineup, but always there as a threat. Absolutely a guy who makes a lot of sense for a National League team that has a 26th spot on the roster, but makes even more sense for an American League team. And the
Right.
Cardinals have tried to entice American League teams into making an offer for him, the Rays being one of the teams beforehand, to see if he might be a fit for a DH there. Just something the Cardinals just obviously didn't have.
Again, it's an excellent move for him.
Mm-hmm.
He'll do well in Tampa. How about Ozuna? Is this going to happen now in the next couple of days? What can I tell me about that? Let me hear.
Well, he would like it too, right? Yeah, he's certainly has made his case to return to the Cardinals. He's been very clear about that. Starting really this past mid-season, he's asked for and offered to meet with the Cardinals about an extension, and there he is. And he gave the couple of interviews over this past week in Dominican, saying that he really still favors the Cardinals. They just have to increase their offer to him. They have to make it richer. That's what I've been told. They have to do that. Now they have the spot. One of the things the Cardinals wanted to do is they wanted to use trades and moves this winter to create clarity for themselves in the outfield. They want to give guys like Lane Thomas and Tyler O'Neill opportunities. They wanted to clear bats or clear spots on the roster with some of these other guys. Well, now they've made 3 trades already this winter with right-handed hitting outfielders, and they lost Ozuna so far through free agency. The return on those 3 trades has not yet been something that they'll add to the 2020 team. That leaves openings, and Ozuna is an obvious fit for them. As far as free agents, they just sign him and move him in. One thing that they are wary of is the length of that contract, because they also don't want to block the rising prospect, Dylan Carlson, who they're eager to see audition this spring for a role at some point in time in 2020.
Good job, Derek. Well done. Happy New Year to you. We'll speak to you soon.
Same to
Thanks
you.
for a few minutes today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.